All right, guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so excited to introduce you guys to Ashley Bushong. She and I have been on the call for a few minutes getting to know each other. We've actually met several times. She's been kind of one of our Team Randolph groupies coming to our events up here in South Carolina. She's actually from Conway, right outside of Myrtle Beach. Which I don't even think I knew that. I mean, I think I knew it, but I don't think I really knew that you were actually the one that was growing a massive team down in the lower part of our state. So for most of you guys, y'all know that I started my team in the upstate of South Carolina. So I'm really excited that Ashley and I get to connect today. So a little bit about her. She is currently a senior Ruby ambassador. She is pushing for Emerald by convention. She just told me that she's actually going to be welcoming her third child in July. So if she makes Emerald, she's already told her husband that he has to go for her to walk the stage. So maybe we can make you like one of those stick people, and someone could walk up on stage for you with you getting your accolades for going Emerald by convention. She is a public school teacher, and then she decided to stay at home and homeschool two of her children. They are 5 and 3, so one is in kindergarten and one is in preschool, and of course her little bambino that is coming this summer. Do we know if it's a boy or a girl?
We do not yet. I'm pretty sure it's a girl. But
you're pretty sure it's a girl. Okay, awesome. And then she is also, I love this, we didn't talk about this beforehand, but she is currently in school to become a holistic health coach. That is incredible. What a great asset to your Plexus business, to add that to, I'm going to be calling on you. That is incredible. And then her husband, he does still work outside of the house. He works in one of the biggest hospitals in the state that is super, super busy. They absolutely love the country life down in Conway. They have 2 horses, 3 dogs, and they're looking to build their future dream farmhouse. And I'm assuming still in South Carolina.
Possibly North Carolina. We'll see.
Oh, even better. Because now I'm in North Carolina, so come on. And then I asked her a little bit about her team. She currently has 4 runners on her team, and her biggest leg is in Michigan. And then we talked a little bit about the last year of her business and, whether she has consistently stayed in momentum or if they have rebuilt back into momentum. And she said that they went through a couple of months, October through December of 2016, and things definitely kind of slowed down, but she would absolutely say that her team is back on track and is in full momentum mode. So we are super excited to have you, Miss Ashley. Thank you for doing this.
No problem.
It's going to be awesome. So just some of my instructions for this, Ashley, just to remind you, I want this to be fun, like laid back, engaging, just like we're having a conversation. I'm really doing this selfishly for myself, just to gain some perspective about other teams that are in momentum and are growing. And so we can work smarter rather than harder. And so I'm going to record all of these calls, and I will offer them to you as well, Ashley, for you to glean on maybe some ideas from other teams, one Plexus all the way. And so anything that, we learn, I will make certain that we share it with you and your team. All right. So first question, what do you give the most credit to for keeping or regaining your momentum and excitement on your team?
First, I have to say, I think that just keeping that momentum is just the passion for the business itself. I've had a very strong passion since I've started for it to really make this work and make it be successful for me and my family. And I feel like that has been able to really pour into my team. And a lot of my runners have that same passion for helping others and for getting themselves to a place that they want to be to. So I think that passion has really helped push that momentum throughout the years that I've been with Plexus. We do a lot of recognition along the way, whether it's something small of adding their first ambassador or getting their first customer. When people message me personally and are excited about something, I make sure to put it on the team pages and even the bigger team pages so that everybody can see that and they build even more excitement for that as well. So we like to do a lot of recognition. When people are getting close to a promotion, we like to, cheer them on. So we'll make an announcement that so-and-so is reaching for gold this month or senior gold, whatever it may be. And so we kind of build up that a little bit more and get them driving a little bit harder to hit it.
Oh my gosh, that's so good. I have it actually on my computer. It's a little tab and it says, people will work harder for praises than raises. Sarah Robbins. And I absolutely love that. Really quick, I didn't put this in our questions, but what color are you? Yellow, green, red, blue, with big owls, 4-color personality?
I am mostly green. Mostly green and yellow, I would say. So I'm kind of driven by helping others and that knowledge base, which is where the health coaching part comes in. Since I started Plexus, I have been so driven just on my own research to learn things and learn how our body works and stuff like that, which has pushed me into this school that I'm now doing.
I love it. I kind of figured you were because I have very little green in me. A lot of yellow, but I'm very, very red, not a lot of blue. So I'm loving this interview because I have a feeling there's going to be things that you do differently that I need to be reminded of, that I need to make certain that I do. But I love the recognition. And I'm going to ask you a little bit later about some team page stuff, but so you have your own team page.
Yeah.
And do your leaders have their own team pages, or do you guys kind of collaborate together?
My strong leaders have their own team pages. My ones that are just getting going and, just starting that running process are kind of still using mine right now, which is perfectly fine with me.
Okay. So do you have a particular, milestone or, when you encourage someone to have a team page, or is it more they independently decide to have a team page?
I leave it completely up to them because a lot of people, I find that's kind of overwhelming for some people. And so I leave that up to them if they want to do that or not. My really strong leader, she's blue all the way. So she loves having that team page. She loves having those group get-togethers and everything. So
okay,
she did that on her own.
Okay, I love it. Yeah, I've kind of just been instructing people, if you're going to start a team page, just realize that that's a whole nother level of responsibility. That if you're going to start one, I don't really think there's a definite timeline, but make certain that you still stay in activity. And you're not just copying and pasting, and you actually realize that that's a huge responsibility to lead an effective team page. So that's kind of been my instruction. But I there for a while, I kind of had this milestone of, I feel like you need to be Ruby. I've kind of shied away from that because I really feel like you want to pour gasoline on the fire. You don't want to dampen a fire. And so if someone's on fire and excited and they want to take some ownership of their team, as long as they effectively work that page, I personally think that it's a great asset to have. But I don't think people realize how much effort goes into working. Would you agree? Your team page is almost another,
because if you slack off a little bit, your team slacks off too. So
yeah. It's a huge responsibility to start a team page. Okay, that was so good. All right. So do you promote corporate events, or how do you promote corporate events? How much stock do you put into Super Saturday, convention, things that people need to pay money to go? I was listening to a podcast this past week about not looking at things conventions or masterminds or things that you have to travel and pay money, that it's not that you're buying a ticket, you're investing in yourself. And that, if you decide that you want to work this business and you invest in your business and you go to an event, that it will pay you back more than you could ever have imagined. So I would love to know like how you're promoting corporate events or things like Leslie's Zan, things where you travel.
I 100% agree with that. From the moment I joined in June. So the first convention was actually happening when I joined. So I missed that one, but I have been to every corporate event since then. I have not missed one. And even when I was silver and, financially, that's a little bit tighter to do when you're just starting. So, but we made it work just because I knew that was going to help me become a better leader and help my business. So corporate events are very, very important to me. I'm actually really bummed I'm missing this one in May. So, I publicly post that I'm doing these events so that if people are not actively engaged on my team page as much, that they are seeing that as well. And I'm also building excitement with people that may not know what all this stuff is. And a lot of people ask me about things like that. Again, I do share on the team page. I share the excitement of the events. I share how much you grow from the events. And if we know the speakers, I've usually shared little tidbits from them too to kind of build that excitement once we know who the speakers are, just so they see how much they can really get from the events. But yeah, I do think they're vital, whether it's an opportunity meeting or a corporate event. I think that they're all very important.
I love it. I completely agree. I've always said, Alec has always said leaders are born at events. And I really feel like runners, they may not even be a leader yet, but it's what, to me, pours gasoline on that fire. If you can get them to go to an event, whether it is something local, it doesn't really matter, but get people to, get outside their four walls and go to be around like-minded, passionate people. It changes people. And so I didn't really understand, I guess, the conventions and the corporate ran events. I really, I didn't actually sign up to go to convention until like the last day that they had tickets the first year. And I ended up going as an actual emerald. And I actually only took 2 people from my team with me. And I kind of wrangled them to go. And so that's why I like to bring up this question, because once I went and saw, I was like kicking myself that I didn't push and encourage people and share what this can actually do for people. So, and that's why I've always hosted events in my area, because I know that there are people who can't get to convention, because of their jobs or financial strains or whatever. And so I try to host these local events so that people can come and that can maybe, spark the fire and, pour gasoline on it. Okay. So good.
I will tell you a quick story though. My strong leg, my runner, strong runner, she joined in March, and that was right when the Opportunity of a Lifetime event was going on, and it was happening in Michigan at that week. I got her to go, and she has been super strong ever since. It really built her belief up in the company for just starting and being kind of, skeptical at first.
The same thing. I have a really strong runner that lives in North Carolina, and I remember when she went and drove to Raleigh to hear Celeste Gwynn came into town. I think it was Raleigh. And she came back. She was already working the business, but it was like it just lit a fire. And then I've got a Ruby that got in the car with us and drove to go hear Sonia Dudley and Helen McFadden. And she was, interested in the business, but it was after that event that she just like drew her line in the sand and was like, this is it. Like, this is what I want to do. So I guess that's why I'm so passionate about events. Because I've just seen time and time and time again. And to be honest with you, Ashley, when I went to corporate for Silver Star, that's really when I drew my line in the sand. I was like, oh, wow. Like, this is what I want to do. And then when I went to convention, even though I was an emerald, that was really when I was like, I want to do this. I want to do this forever. Like, I never, ever want to do anything else. All right. So good. All right. So what kind of outside the box team events, or strategies do you do yourself or with your upline leaders to get people motivated to stay in activity? I kind of use the examples of, PJ parties or the guessing games. Like, what are you guys doing to focus people to recruit and get new customers?
Of course, we do both me and my upline do contests here and there of the runners that are with me on my sidelines. We are all a little bit competitive, which is fun. So we actually have contests here and there of who can sponsor the most people will get prizes for everyone that sponsors somebody. So we like the little competition here and there. So those are always fun. And I have a very competitive team too. So we love that. We thrive off of that. So that's very exciting. And that's something we kind of do outside to really help promote. To keep people active and stuff like that, we do a lot of my upline and I are both local here in South Carolina. So we do our team, we try to do a monthly team lunch or dinner, whatever we can get together for that month, just to get people together, not really make it anything, official, but just to get together, get to know each other, share tips, ideas, just to talk. And I know my strong leg in Michigan, they do this monthly as well. They have monthly lunches where they meet during their lunch breaks, and they do the same thing. And I've been so honored that I get to fly up there every once in a while, and I get to sit in on these meetings and be a part of that as well. So that's been another blessing. I actually get to be part of that, even though they're so far away.
That is a huge blessing. Do you travel a lot to see your team?
Well, I still have family up in Michigan, which is nice. So I kind of, knock two birds out with one stone. I can visit and help with my team as well. So I do try, especially when they ask me to, I try to make it work as much as I can.
Okay.
It is a little bit harder when you homeschool and your kids aren't in school to get your husband to take time off of work, but we make it work when we can.
I love it. Would you say that you travel like once a month, once every 3 months?
Recently, I would say at least once every 3 months. I seem to be traveling a lot lately.
Love it. Yeah, when your team gets bigger, it's harder. Really quick question, since your strongest leg is out of town, and this isn't on here, but I would love to know, what do you do to try to connect with them since they're so far away? I mean, how often are you talking to your strongest leg? Are you doing Zoom calls for them? Or is she just very independent and kind of does her own thing?
She is very independent, and which is really nice in a blessing in another sense, because that way I don't have to stress so much about that team up there, because I know that they are covered and they're great. I do reach out to them personally, especially when they first join. I reach out to them personally, and I'm not just in an email, but I text message them or message them on Facebook, and I connect with them that way. Really, tell them I'm here for you if you have any questions. Making sure that they don't need anything. A lot of people, the thing I find is we all train a little bit differently in our own styles. So some people gravitate more towards one style than the other. So I just like to throw it out there that I'm here for them, so in case they need a little extra help in one area than another.
Oh, so good. Does your strongest leg still work?
No. She's a stay-at-home mom.
Okay. And I'm just thinking logistically, when you reach out to these people, does it matter what levels they are to you? And how do you know who to reach out to? Is it when they post that they've recruited someone? What's your trigger to, I need to go reach out to that person?
Whether it's I get an email, I know sometimes I don't get emails all the time, but usually when I get that first email, or if they announce it on the team pages, that's when I reach out. I introduce myself to them just so they know who I am, and, just offer my help to them if anything they need. But I also, whoever their upline is, whether it's a level 1 of mine or a level 2 or down, I make sure that I give them a little praise and saying they're in great hands with this person. But if they ever need anything extra, to let me know.
Okay. That's so good. All right. So moving on, how do you help your new ambassador that you recruit or on your team, how do you help them work the business when they first sign up, and how are you guys getting them to silver?
So we are really pushing the 3-way calls. Leslie's in.
Yep.
So
and you've seen her twice, correct?
I have seen her twice. The first time was in Jacksonville last February, and then again with you guys. So I absolutely love that. It took a while for me to get used to it just because I am more of an instant person. Sending the message is so much easier for me. But I just did a 3-way call just yesterday with one of my new ambassadors and my sponsor. And that just gives them that third-party validation that, they're in this, and it's somebody that they could really relate to in how busy their schedule was. So that helps too. And so my sponsor will give them her 3 tips based on what I tell them about my new ambassador. And then we go over the why. Why are they doing this? Why is it important? We go over the first goals on going silver and kind of what that entails.
Okay.
Go over the Franks list and just a little bit on how to share and how to reach out to people.
Okay.
And I personally have a short little video series that I have. They're like 5 minutes long each, and I'll send them one video on those different topics every couple days just to go into more detail about it. But
love it. Do you mind telling us what the video series entails? You said there's just a couple of them.
Yeah, there's just a couple of them. I have one that just goes over, the first one is just welcome to the team, kind of what the team page is all about, how to get on their back office, just those basics. And then we go into why your why is important. We go over some goals, but we really hit the Franks list and how important that is to their business. And reaching out, making that list of the first 10 people that they want to reach out to. And we actually work on that together. If they want to do a 3-way call, I make that completely open to them. That if they start reaching out to people, that I'd be more than happy to help them talk to people.
I love that. And are you sending them individually, like, private messaging them, hey, watch this video now? And I know this would obviously be your level 1s, but are you doing that for other downlines, or do you allow your team to duplicate that?
Well, some of them do their own thing, which is completely fine. I offer that to everyone if they want that, but I know my strong leg, she has her own thing where she does a Zoom enrollment call.
Okay.
Person. So they do that on their team, which I've done those too, and they've worked out great. The 3-way call sometimes is just easier to get someone on the phone than on video.
I agree. Love it. Love, love, love. Going back to the 3-way calls really quick, just so you're doing kind of 3-way calls with people who've already signed up, but you're also doing them to recruit as well. Is that what I'm hearing you say? Okay. Would you say on average you're doing 20 a week or 2 a week? Does it kind of depend?
It really depends. I wish I was doing 20 a week. It's hit or miss. Some people just aren't very sure of them yet, so we're working on that. This is new to some people. But with my newer ambassadors, since I've been doing it, I think they feel more comfortable with it, so I can help them with that as well. And my local people, I try to get I have a few local people here that I try to meet with, actually. When they get a new ambassador that's locally, I try to set up a meeting where can we do dinner or do lunch one day.
Okay.
Go over it in person.
So you do try to go one-on-one and sit down with your recruits. Okay, that is so good. Love this. Okay, so tell me a little bit about, obviously, how long have you been with Plexus? June of
2.5 years, so June of 2014.
Okay, so you've obviously experienced the last year with Plexus while you were building and growing. I would love to hear, what are some things that you guys are doing to push through the obstacles, and how are you keeping your team motivated?
The first thing I always stress is staying positive, and that actually took a lot of learning for me as well, and self-development on positivity and what it actually entails. But the being positive, when someone messages you and they're, being negative about something, I always try to turn it around and make sure that they understand that there's a silver lining in there as well. We have gone through a lot of obstacles and there had its ups and downs, but I was always positive on our team page. You know, it was just, I'm positive in all my posts that I make. I just tried not to let it bother me. I know there was things that were happening, but I just tried not to let it bother me in that sense. And I tried when if I had a new customer or new ambassador that was having an issue with some of the things that were going on with the back office and all that other fun stuff, I really just tried to be there for them. I offered to help them if they had a late shipment. I offered to give them a week's supply of pink drink or whatever it may be, just to help them. You know, it's okay, we'll get it there, but you can take this.
Almost kind of just took it one day at a time. I mean, you just dealt with it as, I love that. I really feel like the teams that are growing, it's like they're not looking at what this globally means. It's like, I'm just going to deal with each situation as it comes in, and just keep, not Pollyanna. Like, I know for me, you know, I mean, certain things have to be dealt with. You know, and that's just a part of leading people. It's not all, you know, roses and butterflies and kittens, right? But I do completely agree. Like, the more positive you can remain, the more that your team is going to duplicate that. You know, so I love that. So positivity, and I would assume activity. Yeah, keeping people active.
Staying active myself, and even though, you know, we had those frustrating moments, I never gave up belief in the company. I knew it was going to pull through. I knew everything was going to happen, and, you know, it'd be on the green side once we got through everything. So it was just continuously working my business. In whether, you know, if someone wanted to join, I might have said there may be a little delay in shipping, you know, before you get your products. You know, I kind of warned them a little bit ahead of time, just in case, that I said shipping's a little bit behind right now, but, you know, we'll get you your products.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I just let people know about the computer system ahead of time, and I just, you know, I keep it positive. And, you know, so I definitely think it's how you frame things, for certain. Love all of that. Okay, so we talked a little bit before we started recording about your own personal activity. And I know for all of us, especially at a senior Ruby level, and even a gold and senior gold level, our market is not quite as hot as it was. You know, most people know that you're branded the Plexus Lady. And so how are you still continuing? Because I asked you, you know, are you still actively prospecting and actively recruiting? And so as a homeschool mom, when, you know, you're at home all the time and your husband, it works these long hours, how are you still recruiting people and prospecting and bringing people into the business?
Well, thankfully, we have a lot of different mom groups around here. So I have actually joined the MOPS, the Mothers of Preschoolers, and I'm actually on the leadership team with them now. So that's been a great way to meet new moms and get to know them better and just build those relationships with them. And, you know, I do add them on Facebook and everything like that. So eventually they see everything anyways. So I do try to do some mom groups. I try to do some play dates with my kids when we find people that are at stay-at-home too, that are their age. But the biggest thing for me is I personally try to add 2 new contacts every day. That is my personal goal. And so I try to add those 2 contacts, but the way I do that is I have joined Facebook groups of homeschoolers. We are Disney junkies, so I'm on Disney web groups and just other mom groups, anything that I have a similar interest in. And I have built a lot of new contacts that way, where I will post something in there, people respond. You know, as I talk to them, I'll add them. We have similarities. I don't ever post anything in the group pages. And that's a big thing for that a lot of people don't understand is when they join these groups, you can't post Plexus in these groups.
Right.
But you can build the relationships and you can friend these people outside of those groups and get to know them better. So I've actually been doing very successful with that, with being at home most of the time.
Do you, before Plexus, would you say that you were an extrovert or an introvert?
I am 100% an introvert.
Really? I love it. The reason I ask is it seems like just statistically Greens would say that they're introverted.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I asked, because I had a feeling you were probably pretty introverted, which is really funny because I guess people would say that I'm very red and very driven, so I'm pretty extroverted, but I'm really not. I'm actually pretty shy.
Yeah.
I'm so red and driven that I'm going to kind of push past that. So, I mean, I've always been a networker. I've always just, I guess met people and, feel like they're in my path for a reason. And so it's pretty easy for me to make friends. Would you say that that's pretty easy for you as well?
Oh yeah, I think, and I'm one of those people that once I do make friends, those are people that stay in my life. They're not just there temporarily. So that's big because I do like having that connection with people.
I agree. I totally. So the point being, you can be an introvert and still be successful at this, but just being intentional about your friendships and your relationships, even at a senior Ruby level, you're still doing the same thing that you did before you signed up for Plexus, and it's still continuing to grow your business. Okay. I absolutely love that third-party validation.
A lot of self-growth, that's for sure.
A lot. A lot of it. All right. So one of the questions that was given to me, and I love this question because I know at Ruby and senior Ruby levels, you're starting to think about book studies and challenge groups. Like, how are you guys helping people with like their IPAs and all the personal growth? We call them like Silver and 7, Going for Gold, Maui or Bust. I mean, we've named them everything. What are you guys doing that seems to be pretty effective? Or are you utilizing what your uplines are doing? This seems to be a question that I get asked all the time, is because, they want it to be effective use of their time, because it's like if you commit to a Silver and 7 30-day challenge, regardless of whether people are really engaged in it, you're still committed to doing a Silver and 7 challenge. So where have you found your sweet spot with doing challenge groups?
We have done the Silver and 7. And again, like I find that with challenge groups, the shorter they are, the better. Mm-hmm. If they're too long, because I've also done the 20 and 30, where you your goal is to add 20 people in 30 days, which is mass action. Yeah. So, and that is teaching them that they can reach out to 10 people a day. It's very doable. And we've had a lot of early success with that. But as the month goes on, it starts to dwindle away. So the Silver and 7, we have one of those. I actually have the group it's open for my team. So we have the 7 videos, they're all in order, and they can add their new people if they choose to, and they can tag them in each of the videos as they want it, if they want to continue it. So it is still active and it's still open. But I have not run the actual challenge part in a while, just because I find that some of the challenge groups dwindle away.
Yes.
But we do, both me and my strong leg, we both do daily tips on our team pages. But with those tips, we have an action they need to do for the day. So like, for example, yesterday was about reaching out to people. And so their action for yesterday was they had to reach out to 2 of their customers by phone. So kind of getting them out of that comfort zone.
Okay.
So it's just something to make them, just do new things, but also be doing their IPAs at the same time.
Love it. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm taking major notes. Okay. This is Perfect. All right. So we talked a little bit a few minutes ago. I'm going to go back to team pages. I want to know, like, because one of the, I guess, struggles or obstacles has been when there's been so many team pages. So I would love to know, like, so there's you, and then I know Sonia Maddie is your diamond upline. So you would have a jewel in between you and Sonia. And then you said you have an upline.
Yeah.
How is that working logistically to where when you're adding someone, that you're not just overwhelming them with, oh, we're going to put you in this group and this group and this group. I would love to know kind of what y'all's practice is with that.
Our kind of rule of thumb is you add them to the first 3 groups or up to a jewel.
Okay.
We want to make sure they're at least on a jewel page where they're getting that extra information. But 3 pages at the beginning is more than enough. I do suggest to my team that whether they're working the business or not, they need to be added to your team page at least. Because that's going to build excitement in them, and they may decide to go ahead and work the business when they see all these other people promoting and stuff like that. So that is one of my rules, is that whether they're wholesale customers or if they're actually working the business, they need to be on their team page, whoever it may be.
Okay.
But I do, like, my level 1s are added to mine, my sponsors, and of course Sonia Maddie's. So, and that's where it gets tricky, because there are people in between that as well. So, but those are the closest, most local, and I do like to make sure that there's a diamond in there too.
All right. And for the engagement on your team page, how are you effectively getting people to engage? I mean, do you message people and be like, hey, I need you to like comment or post or do something? Because I know for me, and I'm certain for you, it's enough sometimes to just even post every day. It's like you've got all these things to do. And so, but I know, for a team page to be influential, people need to be engaged on it. Do you have anything creative that you guys do to keep people engaged?
Well, we do the daily activity post where I write out a tip of some sort for the day, and then underneath it is they have a couple little bullets of things to do. Always on that list is to talk to 2 new people. So that's always on their list to do for the day. Talk to 2 new people, and then we add something else to that. My strong leg also adds to that, and she does her own IPA challenge monthly on her team page. So every day it's a new challenge for them to do.
Okay.
So together, and I'm on her team page as well, so we kind of work that together.
Okay.
We're not overlapping.
Okay. But this was not on there, but I would love to know, do you guys do a lot of contests?
Yes and no. I find contests don't do a lot, but I have recently, since we've switched the no backup orders, to get people to really start to get qualified the first week of the month, I have done a contest for that first week. So whoever was commission qualified in that first week was eligible for the contest. And that really helped people get their orders in sooner.
Okay.
So those seem to work really well when they're short and simple. But I find that people are more willing to work for something when it's like Plexus swag other than like cash. So that's what I find on my team, at least.
Okay, that's so good. And actually, I did ask that question, but I just skipped it because it made me think about your team page. And I was never really motivated by an incentive. I was personally motivated by the comp plan. So incentives don't really motivate me. Now, that Plexus planner motivated me. I don't know what it was about that Plexus planner, but I wanted that Plexus planner. So I agree with you that I think, shorter the better, where it's almost, and I love, you mentioned something at the very beginning that you have, competitive teammates, and that, sometimes that friendly competition can really motivate people. So I love that, like the shorter, like, hey, let's go for a blitz. Like, who can recruit the most people in a weekend, or who can recruit the most people in a week, or who can get the most customers. So, and I didn't ask this question either, but I'd love to know, are you guys pretty balanced with your PV in your recruiting? I mean, do you guys focus a lot on, on personally getting customers, preferred customers over ambassadors? Or are you guys still, everyone needs to be an ambassador?
It kind of is left up to how they're doing it. We do talk about bringing up the business first, and just so they have something to fall back on. But some people aren't comfortable with that, and they go for the preferred customers, and then they turn them into ambassadors. So it's kind of where they're comfortable with. But we recognize for, adding new people to the team. We recognize for PV at the end of the month, the top 10 that have, PV for the month. And they love all that. So they love being on that list.
Yes, they do. People love the shout out.
And I also do the top new ambassadors too. So I'll do like the top 3 new ambassadors for the month that went over their 100 or whatever their welcome pack was.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I used to do that too. That's really, really good. Okay, love. All right, let's see. All right, so one of the questions, and I love this question, because I really feel like, you've kind of mentioned it a little bit, but I wonder if there's like a spreadsheet, or do you use anything to kind of keep you, because you're green, so I'm going to pick your green brain. How do you get a system in place for training new ambassadors? I'm so excited about this rank up roadmap. For someone who is not very green and analytical, like, this really makes my life so much easier. But I do think, even though with the rank up roadmap, I do still think that there needs to be some sort of connection to you, or that person personally. How do you train your team to duplicate a training system? Because I know for me, and I'm certain for you, as your team grows, the further away from that, you've even mentioned like your strong leader, because not everybody does this full time. Not everyone is 110% sold out, tattooed plexus all over their body, right? And some people really are just, they love plexus. And so what I'm finding is that it's not duplicating down. Do you guys have a way that you get new people plugged into the system and trained, to get them feeling like they're a part of, what you're doing?
Right. Well, that's why we've been starting with the 3-way calls and getting them to get to know, not just me, but my sponsor. And usually they know me, so in some way or form. But getting them to know their uplines, and so that they feel like they're part of this group, and that these other people that are here for them as well, to help them out. So I love the 3-way calls for that. And again, like I mentioned before, my strong leader does the Zoom enrollment calls, and that helps them too, where they might have 3 or 4 people on that call, depending on who the sponsor is. And they will they'll go over some products, they'll go over the goals, the why, all those basic stuff right there on the Zoom call. So I've, been able to sit in on some of those as well. So that's kind of fun, where I get to be part of that as well.
How often would you say you guys are doing those calls?
They're scheduled at least once or twice a week, depending on how many new people come on that week. So
about how long do the calls last? Do you know?
They're about, especially for the Zoom calls, they're about 20 to 30 minutes.
Okay. All right. I love it. All right. So last question, and this is going to take the little personal growth to another level. So if you could go back over the course of your plexus journey, and do one thing differently, or maybe even the same, something you really felt like it worked, but maybe even something that didn't work, what would that be?
All right. So because I'm an introvert, it was a lot of self-growth for me. So the one thing I would change is to stop being fearful of worrying what people were going to think, and just talk to people. And that's where a lot has changed in 2 years for me. And people say it to me all the time that known me for years, that, my confidence has changed. I really wish I would have worked sooner on getting out of that comfort zone and allowing myself to grow in that sense. I stayed in that comfort zone for so long, which is what took me a little bit longer to get to where I wanted to be, because I just kind of stayed there. But I wish that was one thing I wish I could have changed and, did more of sooner, is that self-growth and really pinpointing where that fear was and, where my comfort zone was, so I could work myself out of it sooner.
That is so incredible. I absolutely that was perfect. Was there a particular aha? Was there a particular book? Was there anything that because there's probably going to be other people who listen to this and they're like, yes, that was mine as well. Or maybe that's my lid. That's what's holding me back.
Well, I think it was actually one of the meetings that you did with Scott Spite.
Mm-hmm.
And he mentioned something about walking out that door and that building was your comfort zone. And everything outside of that door was life going on around you. And, what's going to happen when you walk out that door? That was just something, that light bulb moment where I was like, okay. And then I kept researching. I kept going into different videos and different things like that I was watching and listening to. And so I decided to take baby steps. And so what I did was I challenged myself, because that competitiveness in me, I challenged myself that, we're in a touristy area, being in Myrtle Beach. So I would go to those touristy places, shops, whatever it would be, and I would go into a store, and it would be my goal to talk to at least one person. It doesn't have to be Plexus, but just to talk to people, start a conversation, because that was where my fear was, is what am I supposed to say? So that was what I did, was I just went into these stores and I challenged myself to talk to one person in that building.
Oh my gosh, that is so practical and so easy. All right, so a little bit, digging a little deeper. So if you are, I guess, a professed introvert, I would assume that leading a team was probably not necessarily in your initial comfort zone. Am I guessing correctly?
I am not a natural leader.
I think you are. I think you are fabulous. Was there any aha moment or a book or something that you do? Because I know that I've got leaders on my team who they've got strong leaders underneath them and they're pushing and they're great at so many things, but they maybe just don't feel like, they're a great leader. Has there been anything that's, I guess, inspired you?
A lot of things have inspired me in many ways. I think that's all that self-growth. I think, the 21 Immutable Laws, that, of course, really makes you dive into what a leader is and what you really should be doing. So that has helped. I do watch a lot of motivational, and that motivation builds me up and that pushes me to help build them up as well. So that helps me a lot too.
Okay, that's so good. This has been so much fun. I can't believe we've already been on here for an hour. It is flown by. Ashley, it has been incredible. I know that your husband is going to be walking across that stage with your little picture on it. Maybe he can dress up and have a pregnant belly or something and put it in front of him. I don't know. But I know that you are going to hit all of your goals. You are an incredible leader, and you are doing amazing things. I'm so proud of you and thankful that you were willing to share with our One Plexus family everything that is going on. I have taken 3 pages of notes. I cannot wait to implement so much of what you're doing. So thank you again.
Thank you for doing this. It's been fun and exciting, and I'd like to share my story as well because somebody else might benefit from it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ashley.